Hey, what's going on, guys? NinjaRex here, and I'm bringing you the Hou Yi guide. The first one was Uller, so if you haven't seen that one, go check that out. And Hou Yi is a hunter from the Chinese pantheon, and this guide will cover builds for any game mode, but primarily Conquest, his passive and abilities and how to level them, ricochet locations while in lane and in jungle camps, a lane in comparison to other gods, skins and voice packs and what they look like in-game and like how the voice packs sound like, and an overall rating for him as a hunter, an ADC, and an overall god in the game of Smite. And also, thank you to Jabe for making a thumbnail for the video, which looks really professional and well done. Filter, so the video looks a lot better than just like regular Smite gameplay. And cleaning up all the audio clips that I give, because it's just like to lower the background noise, so thanks to him, and let's get started. Okay, first we're going to talk about the builds, and as you can see, I made a nice little infographic for a bunch of different builds that you want to give Hou Yi. Primarily, I would go with the Boots Rush with Bluestone, just because it gives you a lot of early game damage. But in case you want to try, in case you want to prefer the early game mana, then you go Transcendence. But if you want Lifesteal, then you can go with the Devil's Gloves build. It really just depends on playstyle, but personally, for my playstyle, it is the Boots Rush. And also, if you're playing Assault, because you can't stack an Assault, just take any of the situational items and put those in. And also, I wanted to point out that the actives, you need to have beads, but anything else could be your second active. So you can have a Heavenly Agility, you can have an Aegis. It just depends on what it's in the game. For example, if you have, on the other team, if there's a Poseidon or like a Scylla, those two gods have incredibly burst damaging ults with the Alma Monster and Kraken. So if you want to, let's say you're getting focused down a lot, then you grab an Aegis and you can, pretty much delete all the damage that's going to come towards you from those ults. But let's say your team needs to have an agility and your support can't get that, then you might want to pick that up. And it's just pretty much how the game's going and what's in it. And also, situational means, if you look at the items, there's one missing, like, from all the builds, because you need to sell Death Toll or Bluestone. So what I mean is situational, you just take any of those boxes, any of those items in that box, and you can make that into the 6-item slot, just depending on playstyle. Usually I would go with crit on Hou Yi, because since Hou Yi's passive, which I'll get into later, works really well with the anti-crit, most hunters won't be building crit against you, and now that you have that extra crit damage, it's just going to help you in the late game. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the abilities and his passive. So his passive is called Sun Touched, and it is, after taking a critical hit, Hou Yi can't be critically hit again for 3 seconds. Meaning, if he's boxing a hunter in late game, or even like an Artemis in early game because of her passive, if he gets crit, he can't get crit again. So that pretty much means in late game, the Deathbringer and the Rage that other hunters will be building, it's not going to be as effective. His one is Ricochet, and it's Hou Yi fires a powerful shot that can ricochet off walls. After firing, if this arrow bounces off a wall, it will travel 70 units from that point and gain plus 50% bonus damage and scaling per bounce, up to a maximum of 2 bounces. This arrow will stun if the target has Mark of the Golden Crow. His second ability, which is a Mark of the Golden Crow, is Hou Yi marks the enemy with Mark of the Golden Crow. Marked enemies take extra damage for every 10% of their missing health from Hou Yi's abilities and basic attacks. At rank 3, marked enemies are visible to Hou Yi on the minimap, including stealth gods. At rank 5, Hou Yi gains 25% penetration against the marked enemy god. The mark lasts for 15 seconds. Dive Bomb is his third ability. Hou Yi launches into the air and for a short time may target some distance away to quickly dive towards the ground, dealing damaging enemies in the immediate area. If the target is Mark of the Golden Crow, they are knocked back. And his final ability is Sunbreaker. Hou Yi shoots 9 arrows into the sky, striking 1 sun with each arrow. The 9 suns come crashing down one by one, dealing damage in a target area over time. A target with Mark of the Golden Crow will have their movement speed slowed by 20% and 4.25 seconds on every hit. And so now we're going to talk about leveling. When starting the game, you're going to want to do Ricochet because it's, the most source of damage, and it's also just, it's how you clear camps fastest. And then for his second ability, I like to go Dive Bomb because it's just easy for escapes in case, the other dual lane has pressure, or even if you're want to get really aggressive, you can use the Dive Bomb to attack them. His third is could be Ricochet or Mark of the Golden Crow. I prefer Mark of the Golden Crow unless I'm being push back the tower, I'm not going to really use it. Then I'm going to use Ricochet. But if you want to be aggressive and want to get the stuns and the knockbacks, then I would go Mark the Golden Crow. For 4, I would go Mark the Golden Crow, again for damage. 5, I would go with his ultimate, obviously. And then for the rest, 6, 7, you're going to go his 1. Then you're going to skip at 8, and you're going to go for 9. And you're going to be able to put a point into both Mark the Golden Crow. No, not that. Ricochet and his ultimate Sunbreaker. And then after that, you're going to be ranking up for 10, 11, and 12. You're going to be Mark the Golden Crow. For 13, it's going to be the ultimate. 14, it's going to be Mark the Golden Crow. And then 15, 16 is going to be Dive Bomb. 17 is going to be Ultimate. 18 and 19 is going to be Dive Bomb. And then 20 is going to be Sunbreaker, the Ultimate. And then you're done leveling. So now we're going to talk about laning comparison, which is like how he compares to other hunters in Conquest's duo lane. And so from what I found, Hou Yi is currently one of, if not the best hunters / ADCs in the game, and it's incredibly hard to box him throughout the entire game. Early game, he doesn't have that much problem, maybe except like against an Honor, because Honor is like the best early game hunter. But other than that, he shouldn't really have any problem, and even then, Honor can't really kill him, because if he gets over aggressive, Hou Yi can just stun him. It's just that like he won't win the lane outright. Another early game god, and a god that is generally good against Hou Yi throughout, is Medusa. Medusa doesn't really counter Hou Yi. It's just that Medusa can clear the lane from a pretty safe distance, similar to like a Neith. So Hou Yi can't really be too overly aggressive, or else Medusa, and kind of similarly a Neith, they can punish really hard if you make a mistake. So in the end, Hou Yi doesn't really lose lane to anybody. It's just Medusa and a Neith on a lower extent. I haven't really played against a lot of Neiths. But I would assume, because Neith has also really good lane pressure, that he doesn't really lose lane. He doesn't win it 100% of the time, but he is still one of the best, and it's very hard for him to not win lane. As long as it's not very hard for him to win or stay even, as long as nothing, as long as he doesn't get first blood or his support doesn't get first blooded. So now we're going to talk about skins, and we're going to start with his recolor Sunbreaker. And so it's the blue recolor skin, and I really like it. I think it's a really good skin. It's a really good recolor. Personally, if it didn't have other skins, I would use it a lot more often. But just even with it, I like the color palette. I like the way it looks, and so I would rank this skin at around a 4 out of 5. And it's one of the better recolors in the game.
Not try your luck with me. Beware the mark of the Golden Crow. My arrows always find their mark. What's the use of having a palace on the sun if no one can visit? I used to like peaches, but they just don't seem that cool anymore. I've got 99 problems, but a sun isn't one. Hi. Have fun. Good luck to you. Excellent! All right! Ha-ha! I'll teach you to be as good as me!
His next is going to be his Moon's Garoon, which is a tier 3 skin. If you don't know, it came with a bundle. I'm not sure if it's still in a bundle or not, but it came with a bundle for Chang'e skin, because they're like in lore, Hou Yi is the sun and is married to Chang'e, who is the moon in Chinese mythology. And so I really like the skin. It's one of my favorites. New effects, new voice pack, and I really like it. And the colors have changed to white. So I would rank this at like a 4.5 out of 5.
My wife dresses to kill. She cooks the same way. A good wife always forgives her husband when she's wrong. Marriage is like a bar of soap. It smells delicious until you take a bite out of it. Trip over love, you can get up. Fall in love and you fall forever. Love me and the world is mine. My heart is given. Oh, do give yours to me. Love is life, and if you miss love, you miss life. Congratulations. Woohoo! Wonderful. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. Best of luck to you all. Welcome. I now pronounce myself the greatest.
His next skin is the Iron Crow skin, which is a limited edition, and it can only be obtained through the season ticket and 7,000 FP. It's probably my favorite skin for Hou Yi. It's just really great effects, really cool voice pack. And it also reminds me of Red Hood from DC Comics. I'm not sure if it's like, modeled after it, but just like the helmet he's wearing and also like the way he talks and like the stuff he says, it's really good. I would probably give it like a 4.8 out of 5.
Yes. Splendid. You've proved useful. I am the Reckoning. Spend your time wisely. Ah, hello. Good luck. I use a bow because guns are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. You other gods are a plague. I am the cure. Silence, dog. Your only purpose is to die by my hand. People say I'm condescending. That means I talk down to people. When you have no towers or phoenixes, then you have my permission to lose. Too many freaks, not enough circuses, as they say.
And now his gold legendary diamond skins. I don't like these per se. It's not like I dislike them. It's just that these are the older ones where it's not like where it's like everything is diamond, gold, legendary. But like, and not like the new ones where like Bologna is like just the armor stuff like that. It's like it's an old one. And so I don't really dislike these. They all look really cool. I wouldn't buy them, and I don't own them, and I wouldn't use them because of the other great skins he has. So I'd probably give him like a 3 out of 5, just because he has so many other good skins. So now we're going to talk about Hou Yi as a hunter and ADC and his overall god. As a hunter, I'd rate him as at a 4.5 out of 5, and that's because Hou Yi does what a hunter should do. Provide a lot of damage through range basic attacks and doing some damage with abilities. The only thing is, though, you need to hit the stun with his 1 and 2, and do a lot of damage and set up. Other than there's like Apollo and Chibalanke, they don't need any ability setup. It's just, they just do damage. Which is why he's on a full 5 out of 5. Next is an ADC. Again, a 4.5 out of 5. He doesn't really lose lane unless him or the support get early first blooded. And he doesn't really have any counters, but there are a few guys that can fight him in lane, mainly Medusa and Neith. But even then, Hou Yi still has a better lane pressure and better late game with the help of his 2. And then as an overall god, I give him a 4 out of 5, and that's just because with the not really new tank meta, but with the current tank meta Smite has, he just gets bursted down very easily if he gets popped, if he has to use his beads early because of like an Athena taunt or anything like that. But when he has his beads up and he's really ahead, it's really hard for you to deal with him just because of he has a good escape, his ult's really good zone control, and his 2 just does a lot of damage.